Hi everybody. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to read a paper I wrote. I posted it on my Facebook page and on Temple of Universal Truth page on Facebook. So for those of you that don't have access to those, you may have access to the video here. What it's in reference to is family corrections. How do we know when your family emotional issues are corrected? In other words, when you're going to get to stop having to deal with the same issues over and over again. It's based upon the idea that we contain all the information, memories, and problems of our family line, and that when we correct one of those issues relating to our emotional imbalances, it corrects within the entire family line throughout the universe, all levels, and all realities. If you can accept that each of us is our own universe, and that the only thing within that universe is us and the Creator, who is also us, and at the same time doesn't really exist, you will realize that any corrections we make within what we call our physical reality, also corrects our entire universe, because it is us, and yes, we are co-creating at times. Also, the correction is just an experience, since there's nothing to correct. You're just having the experience of a correction, not the correction itself. There is the idea that we choose our family, friends, and so on when we shift our awareness here, and that is true in the sense that we create them, co-create with them, in order to have the experience we are having and to work on the corrections experiences we're going to face. And by the way, that was all decided at the moment of creation, not in between lives, if some would have you believe. If you want to know what issues, experiences you have to deal with while you're here, look deeply at the problems and emotional issues your parents and their families have and have passed on to you. The family name, hence the family line issues, and remember it's an accepted vibration, the family name is a vibration, are usually passed on to and follow the male children. And yes, the female children can be and are just as messed up as the male children. The male children keep their family name, while the female children usually accept their husband's last name when they marry. Hence their children get that family name vibration and those versions of the emotional issues. It has been said that we seek out partners who are like our parents who we look to marry. Thus it keeps the family emotional issues alive. The children get issues from both parents, and so if we do marry someone like our parents, our children are getting the same type of emotional issues we had, only a slightly different version. When you look at the concept that all possibilities are being played out at the same time, our children are getting a slightly different possibility, version of our emotional issues. Makes sense. They are aspects of you, co-creators, with you, playing different roles, dealing with the same issues, simply a different possibility, a version. We see it as linear, but in reality it all happened at the same moment, which is why our corrections, or shift, affects the entire family line. And remember, it's a vibration. If the parents are opposites, then it may be showing us both sides equally unbalanced in an attempt to help us to come into a point of balance. We often end up being just like a version or variation of one of our parents because we're working on the same issues. All this background information leads up to the point of this paper. Knowing when your family line, meaning all the issues they have, will be dealt with, corrected, and remember there's nothing wrong with you. This is only what we call a human experience. And you get to move on to other experiences either here or someplace else. The emotional issues follow the male line, the name member, it's a vibration, so they're also going to need to be corrected by the male line. So yes, the females help the males in the correction process, but it is up to the male line to correct it. When a family gets to the point where the family name is no longer going to be carried on by the next generation of males, meaning they have no male children, you know that one of the males in that family line has dealt with or is dealing with and corrected or correcting those family emotional issues. Hence, all the possibilities have been played out and experienced for that issue. It's just like completing a timeline. The issues that we're dealing with are, like I said, they're very similar to the concept of a timeline, how we're playing it out. This is an example of what I'm talking about. This is for my family. And one of the things I didn't realize until recently is that my family name is going to be disappearing with my generation. And I had no idea as to why until I asked, and this is the information that I got from it, is what I've told you. My grandmother on my father's side had 6 children, 3 males and 3 females. Between the 3 males, my father and his 2 brothers, there were or there are because I'm not sure, I think some of them may not be here now. 5 male children. At this point, all of those living male children are near or above the age of 60, and none of them have children. So I guess you have to look at what would be the odds of 5 males within the same family line, 3 different families, 3 different fathers, in one generation, not having any children. I think this is, because I am or was, meant to deal with the emotional issues of our family. And as I do that, our family name, the vibration, will disappear once the 5 of us have left this reality. And again, it could very well disappear once I leave the reality, because that goes back to one of the concepts. When you so-called leave this reality, it doesn't even continue to exist, at least in your universe. So this does not include any children my grandfather's brothers might have had, or any other Fellion family line, nor do those lines matter, since I'm only looking at or dealing with my direct family line and not the branches. And remember, the branches don't survive without the trunk. And also remember, this is my universe I'm looking at. Of course, that does raise the question, what about the female children from our or any other family line? I'm not going to tell you what the answer is on that. I'm simply going to put that out there and let those of you who are female children, maybe only female children, kind of think about it and see what answers you get. Anyway, thank you very much for listening.